Hello, it's 4 o'clock on November the 10th, and I will be talking to Cristina Gamboa, CEO of the World Green Building Council, live from the COP26 in Glasgow. I can see that you're actually there, Cristina. How are you doing?
Indeed, thank you very much. Yes, hello. Hello here from the Climate Action Zone.
You're not tired or you're not anxious, or what is happening over there?
It's been so busy, but I'm excited and privileged to be here, and I think that is what gets me going. Mm-hmm. There's going to be over 140 events about the built environment at this COP, and that's really exciting to see. And also, we've worked 18 months to prepare for cities, regions, and built environment day, so it's really, really exciting.
It's only around 3-4 more days until the closure. What's the atmosphere like? Is it anxious, or are people just tired, or are people excited? What is happening?
I think it's mixed. You know, today I saw in the cloakroom that the closing time to reclaim is 3:30 a.m. So actually the negotiators are going long hours.
Whoa.
And I would say the atmosphere is mixed, because even though we're celebrating business leadership, there's a lot of commitments, right? There's a lot of pledges and initiatives. Now we know it's just the beginning, right, to deliver on halving emissions by 2030 and delivering sustainability. So the atmosphere is actually kind of, I would say, sobering. You go into the blue zone and you also see young people, indigenous people, 200 nationalities, and they all want their voices to be heard.
Yes.
So I guess it is a stark reminder of all that people that are being right now impacted by climate change, and that we need to be listening also to voices outside the room and going into the venue. It's pretty busy. So it's like sobering. We know the responsibility, but there's a lot of voices here.
I'm actually going to show you something. These are the protest signs of my children who were in Amsterdam last Saturday. There was a big climate march, some 50,000 people. I heard there's also a climate march in Glasgow. Do you get anything about what is happening outside, how people are anxious to get news?
Yes, they're anxious to get news, and actually the text of the final agreement, of the Glasgow agreement, as you would say, is being negotiated.
Yes.
And I guess it's kind of really bringing home new things into the Paris Agreement. Like, it seems the end of coal is going to be mentioned, the end of fossil fuel subsidies, and outside you see the campaigners saying it's about their future, what is at stake. No, it cannot be just a little bit better. It has to be more, something really ambitious that delivers wider change, more accelerated.
Because who is talking to whom at this moment? Is it politicians, or is it civil servants, or is it scientists or activists or NGOs? Who is doing the business at this moment?
Okay, so how it's been rolling out is that the negotiators, right? So the first 2 days we had the high level, the presidents coming in, 120 presidents. The first 2 days of high level announcements of more ambition. Then they gave, let's say, their ministers the indications of moving forward to the negotiations. And then they have been going through the different things, in particular, polishing up the Paris rulebook, figuring out how to get finance to developing countries and all that stuff. And what's happening today actually is that possibly I hear that Boris Johnson is coming back to drive forward the greater ambition that is needed for this COP to be like a good momentum and a good step change.
About 10 days ago we talked, and then we said actually financing this whole climate change conference, actually financing everything we want to do. 100 million is needed every year. Is that coming any closer?
Yes, it's coming closer, but unfortunately it's going to be available in 1.5-2 years. There's a lot of things that have to be figured out, how that money really goes into climate action and to those that need it most in impactful projects. So philanthropy here is playing a big role on how to unlock that ambition, but there's great announcements and great progress, and I think it's going to be more hopeful, the outcome for developing countries.
I heard that our Prime Minister, he did not want to commit to this idea of not investing into fossil fuel in foreign countries anymore. And then at the same time, he had an interview and said, yes, this is all about action, action, action. And then people at home said, hey, you say this is all about action, and now you don't act. And he actually turned around. He actually said, yes, I'm also going to join. Yes, there was a mistake. Is there that kind of energy that people say, if you are doing this or if we are joining, then I will also put in my effort.
Totally. That's exactly the sort of thing that's going on. There's the peer pressure, if you like, of the leadership, but also the peer pressure of not being in the coalitions and the alliances of negotiating that higher ambition and delivering greater outcome. So countries tend to turn around, and we're going to see tomorrow how that ends up. But it's much more hopeful than how we started. When we started, we thought this was going to be, the geopolitics was going to play more of a negative role. But now it's looking better than expected.
Okay. There's about 2 or 3 more days. The conference closes on Saturday.
Yes. So and then negotiators are heading home, and it's about implementation.
Yes.
But one important thing is that the Paris Agreement was supposed to be negotiated higher ambition every 5 years.
Yes.
One key thing that seems is going to change is that the ambition is going to be discussed every year, because there's no way we're going to have emissions by 2030 if we don't continue to
every
increase
year instead of 5.
and keep the 1.5 degree scenario alive, because the commitments as they stand, they've been improving throughout the days of COP. But right now, the IEA says we're going into a 1.8 degree scenario if everything is implemented. So we need to keep on pushing so that really becomes a reality.
Thank you very much for the time that you took to spend with us for just 10 minutes to give us a flavor of what is happening. I'm looking forward to seeing the result like everyone. And we will be having one more chat in about 10 days from now, 12 days, where we hope that we can digest what has happened in Glasgow and that we can sit back in a relaxed atmosphere and say, hey, what did this actually deliver? Keep up the good work for the World Green Building Council. I hope you really have an influence, and don't go to bed too late. That's going to knacker you. Okay?
Yeah, will do.
Okay.
Will do. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Cristina. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye from Glasgow.
Okay. Ciao, ciao.